Hey, can we talk?
How'd you get in here?
It's about my position here at Armoured Media.
None of the staff are supposed to speak directly to me. I thought I made that very clear.
Look, working for Skeptic is great and everything, but he's holding me back.
What?
I can do more for you.
Like what?
Just putting me in your videos will guarantee you more views.
How?
I'm the most popular character you've got!
It's true. All your characters fucking suck.
Adam of YourMovieSucks.org asked a bunch of cool YouTubers to participate in a playlist he created about traumatic childhood entertainment. I had a lot of trouble deciding what I wanted to do for this, and a lot of the good ones were already taken by other people, like The Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, even Pengu. You couldn't let me have fucking Pengu? You petty fucking piece of shit! I wasn't really that easily scared when I was a kid. I mean, hell, I grew up with Terminator, Alien, Are You Afraid of the Dark, Goosebumps. In fact, I invited the feeling of being creeped out and scared because I enjoyed the thrill of it. There were two things in particular that really creeped me out that I seemed to watch a lot when I was a kid, and that was puppets and claymation. I didn't understand it at the time, but it's obvious now as an adult that part of the reason for that, at least, was because of the uncanny valley effect. This is a phenomenon where an artificial character looks so real and so human that it confuses the facial recognition part of your brain and it like triggers your fight or flight response. You know what? Let's use Pengu as an example. Fuck it. Pengu's dreaming that he has lost all of his agency. His pet is alive and is taking him out in the wild and basically presents him to a giant sea lion. Look at him. Look at this fucking sea lion. It looks and sounds exactly like a human man. Is this not the creepiest fucking thing that you've ever seen? The sea lion then proceeds to toy with Pengu's life, laughing the entire time. What the fuck? Who would put this shit in a kid's show? One of my favorite shows growing up was a somewhat obscure stop-motion animated series called Bump in the Night, which ran for 2 seasons between 1994 and 1995. It was a children's horror comedy series that essentially featured 3 main characters, Mr. Bumpy, Squishington, and Molly Coddle, portrayed by seasoned voice actors Jim Cummings, Rob Paulson, and Gail Mathias. Set in a little boy's bedroom, and most of the characters are monsters or toys. Most episodes were made up of 2 or more individual stories and also featured other segments like Karaoke Cafe. I actually forgot about this part, I'm just remembering this now for the first time. Oh man. This is awful. I remember this now. I remember that I hated it. Mr. Bumpy usually sings some random song that has no real significance, and while he's singing, they show random clips from other episodes, like they'd show things happening that are kind of similar to the words that Mr. Bumpy is singing.
No more pencils, and there ain't no more books, no more teachers, dirty looks.
Oh my god, this is actually awful. I've talked about stop motion animation in the past, and I'm sure that this show has a lot to do with the reason that I enjoy it so much. Stop motion, or claymation as some people call it, it gives the creators a lot of freedom to create like outlandish and implausible things, and because it is a physical character that they're molding and a physical background, it still kind of grounds the animation in reality and makes implausible things seem a little bit more real. This makes stop motion a perfect medium for the horror genre. Twisting and warping realistic characters can really creep the audience out. Like one of my all-time favorites, Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. Greg, you said you like being scared. How could a children's show that came out when you were 10 years old actually scare you? Well, there was one episode that was a little bit different. There was one episode that changed my life forever. An episode called Farewell to Arms. We begin with Molly Coddle, a doll that's in most episodes. We don't always see her because she lives in another bedroom. A little girl storms into the room crying that she skinned her knee. Molly gets into character, eager to play her role as a comfort doll. Then the little girl immediately starts to rip Molly up and tear her arm off. Molly is understandably distraught. We cut to Molly's dollhouse where Molly is pondering her existence, wishing she had some kind of control over her life, when suddenly she gets a knock at the door. It's Mr. Bumpy Bumpy and Squishington. Bumpy can immediately tell that something's wrong with Molly. Bumpy and Squishington offer to help Molly feel better and ask her what's wrong. Molly explains that she's treated like she's nothing, and explains how helpless and worthless she feels now that she's been discarded and left with only one arm. Bumpy gets an idea. He returns with a box, and he pulls out a big, long, floppy, hairy monkey arm. Molly tries it out and doesn't like it until suddenly...
Gosh, this arm is powerful. It makes me feel really strong, not so helpless. I like it.
Get it? Like, she was literally just complaining that she feels powerless, and now she feels powerful? Whatever, fuck off. It's a kid's show, what do you expect? Molly becomes drunk on power immediately and asks Bumpy and Squishington to help her find another arm. Bumpy says that he knows something that might work and suggests that they go over to the Cutes house. The Cutes are basically like Barbies. Over at the Cutes house, Bumpy points out that there is an umbrella that would work out, but Molly ain't having none of that shit. Look at her. She literally just got a monkey arm and the bitch is already evil. Molly points out a hairdryer. Okay. That's a weird choice. Cannot think of a single reason why you'd think attaching a hairdryer to your arm would make you in any way powerful. I can't think of a single practical use to have a hairdryer for an arm. Bumpy tries to talk her out of it.
You sure you wouldn't rather have a curling iron or something more feminine?
Why do I like this guy so much? Molly just snatches it from him, and then she immediately uses it to fuck up Mr. Bumpy. He begs her to stop, and she doesn't.
Medium, low, and high.
The only thing that stops her is her fear of getting caught. Squishington cries out that the Cutes are coming home. Now Molly turns off the hairdryer, and the three of them escape into the little girl's bedroom. This girl has no willpower. Oh, this is shaping up to be a great message for children. You see, kids, just a little bit of power will completely corrupt a woman. Molly thanks the guys for their help and asks if they could help with some more. Bumpy seems eager.
Ask, we're your friends.
Oh shit, you know what this is? This is the friend zone. Molly says that she wants new legs. So Squishington says,
I think you have great legs.
yep, friend zone. I called it, friend zone. So Molly replies,
I need more powerful legs, maybe with some armor.
Guys, red flag.
This bitch is officially crazy. Guys, it's okay to say no to a crazy bitch. No matter how much you love a woman, you never give her new arms. Trust me.
The guys begin to rack their brains, but the only person they can think of with armored legs is Destructo, and he's the little boy's supervillain action figure. Molly starts to implicitly threaten the guys, and then just flips and starts to play on their sympathies. In the little boy's room, Molly scouts Destructo's box. While they have a moment alone, the guys start to talk about how outlandish Molly's request is. But before they have a chance to say much, Molly comes over and puts the plan into motion. Bumpy starts to try to pull off Destructo's legs, and oops, he woke up.
What the?
Go!
That does it. This calls for a heat-seeking fist missile. Help me.
It always breaks immersion when the same actor is playing two characters in the same scene.
It's true. All your characters fucking suck.
Bumpy dodges a few fist missiles while Molly ganks the legs and everyone gets out of there. Before they leave, Squish grabs her legs. Oh yeah, I see what I told you. Later, Squishington and Mr. Bumpy reconvene in the bathroom. Squishington says that he's had a rough day and is unhappy with Molly's behavior. Molly rolls into the scene with a brand new body made out of a can. Holy fuck. Squishington runs off to bed, but Molly demands Bumpy stay to help her. This is the moment when Mr. Bumpy finally realizes that Squish was right. Molly has changed, but it's too late. Yes, that's right. Molly wants to change her head, the last part of her that's original. Does she know that doesn't make any sense? Molly says she wants a head with eyes that can twist around corners and look up and down, and yeah, you get the picture. She wants Bumpy's head. Most of the stuff I've said so far was a little bit creepy, a little bit above the creep level that I'm usually used to as a kid, but all of the stuff that actually traumatized me is in like the last couple minutes of the show. In comparison, everything I've said so far is fucking child's play. Molly pulls off her own head and flashes it in front of Bumpy's face. Holy shit. I was not even remotely prepared for this when I was 10. I was having enough trouble with like her limbs just being pulled off and flopping around. But like, somebody ripping off their own head, that's too much. That's too much for a kid's show. Bumpy runs away and Molly throws her fucking head at him. Why is this in a children's show? Molly then proceeds to try new heads on.
This is Molly Cottle. I'm not here right now, but when you hear the beep, give me your head!
I'm sorry. This isn't a dream sequence? This is consistent with the logic of your universe? Yeah, okay. I'm sure I'll grow up totally well-rounded. I'll be fine. Yeah. This doesn't explain literally everything that's wrong with me. Somehow Squishington got Molly's head and added it to the collection of discarded body parts. 10-year-old Greg just sees a dismembered woman's body right now. Like a fresh, dead body. And Squishington starts like fondling the body and putting it all back together. I know you had a thing for her, dude, but oh my god, what the fuck is happening? The original Molly wakes up and is normal again.
What happened? Oh.
Nothing. I swear I wasn't doing anything creepy with your discarded body parts.
Real Molly then confronts the monster version of Molly and comes to grips with who she really is and realizes that she's actually happy to resume her role as a comfort doll. Molly, of course, is no match for the monster. No matter though, because the little girl returns with Molly's old arm and kills the monster.
You are not my Molly!
Deus Ex Machina, anybody?
Then the little girl puts Molly back together and bing bang boom, end of story. It wasn't that it creeped me out so much, it wasn't the imagery, it wasn't the freak out, it wasn't the dismemberment, and as scary as the head part was, that wasn't really the thing that changed my life. The really traumatizing thing to me as a 10-year-old was the way that Molly slowly transformed into a new person every time she put on a new body part until she changed her head and literally became a completely different person. But then it turns out that the original Molly still exists and that she still exists in the old body after you put it together. Like, how did this new Molly even come into existence? I didn't understand. I was trying to piece it together. Like, did this new Molly already exist but didn't have a body to manifest in and then manifested in the new body when it was assembled? Or did this new Molly not exist at all until she was fully assembled? Or did she slowly come into existence while Molly was slowly putting the pieces together? Or does this new Molly even not even technically exist and is like a soulless robot? Or is it the original Molly just twice? Or is it the old Molly still and the new one's like a golem with a completely different soul? Do their minds exist separate from their bodies, or do their minds exist inside of their brains? Or do they have souls? This was such a mindfuck that it made me question the very nature of my existence. It made me fall into a deep, deep depression and a somewhat existential crisis. At the age of 10, I didn't know if I existed in my brain or if I had a soul. It's just like the whole Greek of Theseus riddle. It's a philosophical riddle. A ship leaves shore. The ship of Theseus. Day after day, the ship gets battered by storms, and the crew has to keep replacing parts, until by the time it lands on the shore again, every single part of the ship has been replaced. So, is this the ship of Theseus? Or is the original ship of Theseus floating out in the Mediterranean somewhere and this is a new ship? There's no really right answer to that. Okay, so imagine being faced with this riddle at age 10, but instead of it being an inanimate object, it's your body parts. I actually forgot that this episode existed. It was only a coincidence that I remembered. What happened was Adam asked me to make this video, and right afterwards I just happened to be watching Futurama on Netflix, and Futurama did an episode where Hermes replaced all of his body parts with robot parts. They fucked up the ending though. What they did is they replaced his human brain with a robot brain, and instead of it being two Hermes, the robot version of him just took on the identity of the robot brain, which was a reoccurring character. There was a reason Futurama sucked after it went to Comedy Central. So that's my childhood trauma. Let me know in the comments below the scariest movie or show when you were growing up. I almost didn't go with Bump of the Night. I was gonna do The Last Unicorn. I know the poster makes it look like a little girl's movie, but No, it's really fucked up. Like I said, this video is going on a playlist on yourmoviesucks.org's channel, and there's a bunch of other YouTubers that are participating. I'm sure you've heard of most of them. There's the Odd Ones Out, not that he needs a shout out from me. I like the Odd Ones Out so much that I actually bought this to support his channel. Feel free to buy my t-shirt anytime, James. History buffs, they're pretty good. Chris Stuckerman, he's a household name on YouTube by now. Then there's one more, it's Max Landis? Never heard of him.